Well, today is going to be short because I recorded a longer video and through a series of unfortunate events, deleted it. That's the second time I've deleted a video, thinking I was backing it up. So I am probably embarrassingly incompetent for a millennial then. So this is a recorded while driving home video. Today was a nice full day as a pastor. It's interesting how I really love academics. I love study. I've said it before. I love getting a PhD. I just enjoy the real nitty gritty of reading and analyzing and discussing ideas. But the best days as a pastor is whenever I'm out riding in a car with someone and talking and having lunch meetings and then praying with people. So David and I today, we had a lunch meeting with a young man, and then we went to Walmart where we picked up over 100 toys that were purchased for Mosaic's Christmas shop that's happening tomorrow. Really neat opportunity there. But it's just interesting to think that the best days as a pastor are the days where I'm just out and about going and seeing and doing. I was also prepping for our movie day on Sunday, where we're going to be showing a movie this Sunday and next Sunday, 6 o'clock, St. Paul's Lutheran Church. We're doing a movie night, family movie night. There's going to be nickel and dime concessions. So I was cleaning out the popcorn machine, and I was looking to see if we could use the rotisserie hot dog warmer, which we couldn't. It's broken, didn't really rotate, so kind of defeats the purpose of it. And then talking with Hubie about pizzas, and then it turns out that just Marco's Pizza is really a wonderful pizza joint. They have done a lot for our church, and so I 100% say support Marco's here in Maumee. They're doing an excellent job. But my longer video that I recorded, I talked about a couple things. I talked about my top 5 Christmas movies, and since I'm at the longest light that has no Christmas. And so then the presence of Aslan and the children brings about Christmas, and it's really neat there. But anyhow, my top 5 Christmas movies would be, in no particular order, Elf, then White Christmas. Hopefully everybody's seen that classic. And then I'd say Christmas with the Cranks and the Santa Claus #1. And then, this might surprise people, but it shouldn't surprise you if you know me, but Jingle All the Way would round out my top 5. Good old classic Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. The guy who made 90s comedies wonderful. So that would be that. But then last night, LeBron James's streak of 1,297 games ended, and that streak was scoring 10 or more points in a game, so scoring double digits. And that scoring streak ended because he had a terrible shooting night, 4 of 17. Usually he would hit more shots than that, or you think about one of those would be a 3-point shot and then a couple of free throws, but that wasn't there for him. He's getting really old because he's been in the league for 23 years, I think it is. But anyhow, January 2007 was whenever his scoring streak started. And this streak ended because he drove. He was in the center of the lane. He was at the top of the key, center of the lane area, and the defense collapsed. And instead of forcing a shot up that might not have been the best shot, or not caring if the game went into overtime because it's a tied game, he made the best basketball move, passed it out to the corner, and his teammate hit the shot for the win. So I just think if there's no better way to end a scoring consecutive streak than to do a game to assist the game winner. And so hopefully that's a load off of his shoulders where he can become just full focus on being the team player, being the mentor, being the facilitator. He's got a lot of decades of basketball knowledge that he can share. And then ultimately, so I've been thinking a lot about how we can get caught up in current events. Right now there's a mess going on in Minnesota where there's been some fraud and abuse of charity funds, and people are taking advantage of that opportunity to say that all people from Somalia are a certain way. And it bothers me because instead of letting it just be an event that is an event, it's something that's already gone through court systems. People are using it to make blanket statements about 80 to 84,000 people that are there in Minnesota. So look into the details of every news story that you hear that's used to any partisan gain, whether it's from a Democrat or a Republican side. Politics matters from a standpoint of the life of the city, the health of your neighborhood, the health of people that you live. But partisanship is terrible. So a fundamental truth is that, at least that I believe, that Scripture says, is that every human being bears the image of God and should be respected, and that we should not cast a net over an entire people group for a person's action. And if you look into what's going on, you'll hear wildly different numbers of $250 million to $1 billion frauded. And but you got to realize this is over a scope of many years. Terrible, shouldn't happen. And part of the reason why it happened was people were not making a big deal out of things because they didn't want to make a big deal. But this is something that's gone through most of the court systems already up there. But then now someone's trying to make a name of it and an issue with it in the national news. And 60 to 80 people is the numbers that I was seeing for who's been part of this fraud and embezzlement issue. Not embezzlement, just frauding money. And most of the people are U.S. citizens, and then quite a few are of Somali descent. So let's just say all 80 are Somali that are part of it. And people are saying that those 80 people represent the 80,000 total Somalis. That's just being as ungenerous and intentionally antagonistic as you can. Anytime you hear someone make sensational claims on the news, just do a little bit of research into it. But also remember that if you're a Christian, your attitude towards everything needs to be caring about truth. It needs to be caring about people over party. And also as Christians, we need to be caring about my words bringing forth truth, hope, love, joy, and peace. And so I need to be treating my neighbor with love, and I need to be recognizing that my ultimate goal is not to be on a winning political party, but to be showing Jesus to every single person through my words and actions. I mean, this is the second week of Advent where we're talking about hope. And so are you someone who is bringing hope to where you are? So I really don't enjoy talking about things that could be considered political or partisan because, one, it really depends on what news you're listening to as to what you hear. And so I readily acknowledge that I don't know everything about the cases. And so I don't want to speak and then find out that I look like an idiot. And so I looked into the details and asked, I was searching for the most egregious terms that I could to figure out what was going on. And so do a little bit of research, do a little bit of study, but ultimately, here's my thought. I'm living in Ohio. It's terrible that that would happen in Minnesota, but my primary concern over anything political needs to be what's going on within 20, 50, 100 miles of me, and what am I doing to make sure that I'm taking care of the people around me. There's an opportunity here in the greater Toledo area to do a lot of gospel work through a lot of different means and partnering with a lot of different churches and ministries. And so that's what I care about a whole lot more right now than what's going on in Minnesota or fill in the blank other state where someone says they need to be angry or upset about something. Anytime someone feeds a news story to you to try to make you angry, just beware. Even if it's confirmation bias on your side of whatever aisle you're on, whether it be theologically, politically, just be careful. Anger is not a fruitful thing. In the book of James, it says that the anger of man, so it says, be slow to speak, quick to listen, and slow to anger, for the wrath of man does not bring forth the righteousness of God. And so just be careful. This is for everybody. This is, I know, this is a highly Christianized theological turn of events at the end of this, but don't feed yourself things that are full of fear and anger. Make sure that you're not just seeking out things that confirm your bias. But then as a Christian, make sure that you're showing people Jesus and that Jesus is your primary concern, and think through the lens of missions and evangelism. I praise God that he brings people here to the United States of every different nationality, language, and tongue, because I do believe that we are one of the wealthiest and safest countries in the world. So if we're able to provide safety to people, that's incredible. I also believe that there are a lot of Christian churches and outreaches in this country that someone can come here and hear the gospel where they might not have. But then I also know that there's a lot of people who are fleeing their countries, who are refugees, who are Christians who hold to orthodoxy, and they're from churches that are ancient, older than the United States kind of churches, and they can maybe come and help reform us in our American highly cultural Christianity that maybe we need to be straightened out on a few things. And so I celebrate the ingathering of nations that's going on through our immigration process, because I think it's a really neat opportunity for evangelism and also for correction. But those are my thoughts. 13 minutes, went a whole lot longer, rambled once I stopped my car and I was here. I drove safe, and everyone have a wonderful, fantastic day.